G'day, Facebook. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about the small business fund that was announced by ScoMo yesterday and the funding of that. Before I get into that, I'm just using my earbud today for the sound, which I usually use when I use my phone for these things. I know it works with the phone. I'm not 100% sure if you can hear me. So if you are currently watching and you can hear me or can't hear me, just jump on the comment section and say, yep, can actually hear what you're saying. That would be really helpful for me. So hi, Nicole Boyle, I can see you there joining. Yeah, so if you can hear me, jump in the comment section and confirm that they're working. Otherwise, I'll assume they are and I'll keep going. So what is the Small Business Fund? There are a couple of funds that are similar over in Canada and the United Kingdom. And the basic idea is the government reaches a certain goal in terms of raising capital, usually with the investment from big companies. So usually banks or multinational companies, big companies that can afford to put money into this fund, which then is almost like a bank, for want of a better way of putting it, where small to medium businesses can apply for grants that they can use to grow their business to, and it's for stuff like, buying new or better equipment, expanding their production capabilities, within their warehouses, vehicles, buying property, maybe that sort of thing. It's not just to pay for ongoing costs. It's actually, the idea is to help the business expand its current operations, and potentially they pay that back over a period of time, similar to a loan. And it's for businesses that have been around for a while, have runs on the board, but for whatever reason can't seek or find that funding through traditional means, getting a bank loan, etc. That sort of thing. So that's basically how that looks, or what that looks like. The target for Australia that Scott Morrison has announced is a $1 billion fund. And they're looking to put potentially $100 million of taxpayer money into that to help get it to the $1 billion fund. I'm not a massive fan of it necessarily. Not that the whole idea of the fund is a problem, but to put taxpayer money into it is something I wouldn't endorse. So most of I think all of the banks in Australia have basically said, nope, not a good idea, we won't be involved. A number of other large companies have also said they don't feel like that would be a great idea. Certain members within the small business community probably go, yep, great idea. But as someone who counts as a small business person and a Liberal voter, for want of, well, definitely a voter of Liberal Party over the Labor Party at least, I don't like the idea of that taxpayer money going into it. The reason being that in a free market where all things being equal, businesses are able to either stand on their own 2 feet or not through fair business practice is the way I think the world should be run. I think the job of government is to create an environment where businesses can potentially flourish. But it is not the government's job to help businesses flourish. They either make good choices and succeed, or they make poor choices and fail. I'm not a fan of the government interceding in most things, especially business. I think if you get out of the way and just create that environment where businesses have a free run at it, I think a lot more often than not, businesses will grow, businesses will create jobs, jobs will create spending, spending creates growing economy, and a growing economy helps to create more businesses. It's a bit of a cycle. And much like I said yesterday with Labor and their policy about the one, for the Veterans Funeral Fund, I think you need to look at all of these things in their context as a whole. So while I'm not a fan of this particular idea from ScoMo, I think a lot of his other business ideas are quite good. And on the whole, at the balance of the whole, I think it's Liberal Party's idea for businesses is a lot better than the Labor Party's. But on this particular one, no, I think ScoMo might have got it wrong. But we'll see. What's your view? I'd love to hear. If you, especially if you're in small business, do you have an opinion? Do you even know about the fund? Have you heard of it before? Is it something you've personally been looking at, or something you totally disagree with, like I do? All right, thanks, guys. So tomorrow I'll do a video, being Wednesday. I may or may not do one on Thursday, being Anzac Day. Anzac Day is one of the most important days of the year for me. As I explained yesterday, my father was in the military, so it's something I take very seriously, and I like to honour him and his service, as well as all the other men and women who have served our country over the last 150 years or so. So I may or may not, and if I do, it'll be maybe fairly informal, that video. But I'll definitely have a video tomorrow, and I'll be back on Friday. Again, as usual, if there's anything in particular you think I should talk about, look at, jump in the comment section, let me know, send me a message, and I'll have a look at it. All right, guys, have a great night.